By the late 1970s and early 80s, the growing influence of the CFR and Trilateral Commission in our government affairs had become difficult to ignore, and a number of congressmen who were willing to take a stand against these organizations were increasing. Congressman Larry McDonald took the matter before Congress on 4 February 1981, calling for a comprehensive congressional investigation of the CFR and Trilateral Commission, following up Resolution 773 of the American Legion, which urged Congress to investigate these organizations to determine their influence on U.S. policy. In spite of getting no coverage on this matter from the media and having only limited results in Congress, McDonald refused to give up. He did everything humanly possible to expose the plot right up until his death aboard the Korean airliner in 1983. The 007 accident backfired on the establishment as it set off a wave of repulsion at the state level. Infuriated by McDonald's death and the failure of the media to even mention the fact that he had been exposing a conspiracy, those aware of the battle being waged behind the scenes began to apply pressure on Congress to take action. One of the states at the forefront of this effort was Indiana, where Resolution 773 had originated. On 3 April 1985, the Indiana House of Representatives introduced Resolution number 19, calling for a comprehensive investigation of the Trilateral Commission and the Council of Foreign Relations, pursuant to the efforts of Larry McDonald. However, like other calls for congressional investigations, this too would go unanswered, largely because of a lack of public pressure on Congress, which was in part the result of no media coverage. McDonald's death gave more congressional leaders courage to continue the fight. Through spearheading the effort, McDonald was not the only congressman trying to expose the plot to create a world government. While some congressmen decided to back off as a result of the Korean airline incident, other leaders such as Senator Jesse Helms would only intensify their efforts. Since McDonald's death, Helms has become the most outspoken critic of these organizations in Congress, repeatedly taking a stand against the establishment. Speaking before the Senate on 15th December 1987, Senator Helms launched into a detailed discussion of these matters in an urgent appeal to his colleagues. Here are a few excerpts from this important speech. Quote, "This campaign against the American people, against traditional American culture and values, is systematically psychological warfare. It is orchestrated by a vast array of interests comprising not only the Eastern establishment but also the radical left. Among this group we find the Department of State, the Department of Commerce, the money center banks and multinational corporations, the media, the educational establishment, the entertainment industry, and the large tax-exempt foundations. Mr. President, a careful examination of what is happening behind the scenes reveals that all of these interests are working in concert with the masters of the Kremlin in order to create what some referred to as a new world order. Private organizations such as the Council of Foreign Relations and the Royal Institute of International Affairs, the Trilateral Commission, and the Dartmouth Conference, the Aspen Institute for Humanistic Studies, the Atlantic Institute, and the Bilderberger Group serve to disseminate and to coordinate the plans for this so-called New World Order in powerful business, financial, academic, and official circles. End of quote. He goes on to talk about how that they seek to, quote, subvert our constitutional order, and that they are attempting to set up a one-world global economy and so forth. It's quite an interesting talk he gave, and this is on pages 48 to 49 of this said book. Now we will consider more about this incident where the airline went down, consider evidences to find out if actually this congressman was murdered by the people behind the scenes who are pushing the New World Order.
That plane lost the radio communication with the ground about an hour out of Anchorage. And did not pick it up. I don't remember the exact time frame, but not shortly before the incident happened in terms of this missile hitting them. They had to relay their communication to another plane that was behind them about an hour. So, my feeling on it is they had picked that plane out to destroy it and had interfered with his radio transmissions by jamming them the whole time.
Well, now, Bonnie, the nominal rate of descent of the 747 is 3,000 feet a minute. This plane leveled off at 16,000 feet and came down at 1,500 feet a minute. Doesn't that tell you something? Somebody...
It tells me that they're in control. The only thing that I would take exception to, basically, in what you said was at 50 degrees. I don't think, from what I understand and what training I've had, that most people can survive for 3 hours at 50 degrees on water. It's, if you've ever swam in the ocean, even when it's around 60, you can't take it very long.
I've swam in the ocean an awful lot.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I suppose it's possible. Larry McDonald was trained in survival.
Yes, he was.
Pardon me?
I say yes, he was.
He possibly could have survived if he was, alive still. I'm sure a lot of people were probably killed outright, but...
The secrets that every American should know. Now let me give you an idea of what this book's all about. He's talking about in this book a lot of things I talk about. He starts with the rural environment of the 1920s, the lifestyle of the 20s. He was in the classroom morality, the new philosophies, the tax-free foundations, and boy, there's a bunch of them. Rockefeller and the CFR, the Trilateral Commission, formed by Rockefeller and Brzezinski, the planning of change, and who's trying to take over the world. And he does a chapter here on the United Nations Charter superseding the U.S. Constitution.
March 18th, 1977. President Jimmy Carter reestablished the embargo against Rhodesia by signing House Resolution Bill 1746. 1977 through 1979. George Bush served as a director of the Council of Foreign Relations, an organization which has roots in the secret society, the Order of the Illuminati. April 18th, 1980. The free world lost another nation to communism, for after Rhodesia suffered under the pressures put on them by the international Marxist conspiracy, it became the terrorist-ruled, communist-backed nation renamed as Zimbabwe. 1977 through 1981. Henry Kissinger, CFR member,